and roar. Her very first love was Speed Racer, till she saw the bandit smoke the law. She don't care about no diamond ring or no necklace made of pearls. It's what's under that hood that makes her sing. 'Cause my baby, she's a car girl.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Damn Show on the Critical Blast podcast. I'm your host, Damascus Mintzmeyer. Our regular host, RJ Carter, is on a mission to save a princess from an interstellar dictator in a galaxy far, far away. While he's gone, I'll be interviewing author Leicole Lang, whose debut horror novel, While They Watch, was released at the end of April. For the next hour, we'll be talking about writing, dreams, ghosts, and what makes the woods so damn scary. Hi, Leicole.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. It's nice to have you as a guest, finally. We met about a month, 5-6 weeks ago, something like that, on Instagram, right when you started posting about your new book. And I always like to start my shows with this question, which is, who are you, what do you do, and why do you do it?
Well, my first name is technically Bailey. Leicole is my middle name. I liked the alliteration of using Leicole Lang instead. I guess I wrote a book. I don't know. I have a little bit of imposter syndrome right now. I only have the one, so I hesitate to call myself an author, but I am aspiring to be a horror author.
No. I think you crossed aspiring. Aspiring is when you're like working on the book. As soon as the book's done, no, you're an author. Like you are. It is here. You have arrived. You are now officially in the game. You're in the game right now.
Well, I guess I'm an author then. I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. And why do you do it? Like, why? What is the urge to write with you, to express yourself like that?
I don't know. I wasn't someone that wrote a lot growing up. I attempted to write a book when I think I was 11, and I gave up on it almost immediately because it was just too complicated. And I didn't do anything with it, but I'm a big reader and I watch a lot of movies. My mom really made sure we had a lot of books and movies coming in at all times growing up. And so I've always kind of had a mind for stories. And I don't know, I was kind of just looking for a story that was like mine. I was craving a very in the woods, Blair Witch Project sort of story. And I couldn't find anything that really resonated with me. So I just thought I'd write for myself.
Yeah, there was definitely a Blair Witch Evil Dead aspect to this. And for people who don't know, I read this book, I reviewed it. Thus far, I think it's probably my favorite horror novel that I've read in 2026.
Oh, thank you.
It's in my number one slot so far for the first half of the year, definitely. So we'll see where it ends up in the running in the end of the year. But tell us about While They Watch. What's it about, and how did you come up with the idea?
I came up with the idea actually from a dream. I'm not usually very good at remembering my dreams, but I woke up and I had this weird dream of being trapped in this cabin. I couldn't get out of it. And I was standing in front of this window looking out into this dark forest. And I was just trapped there. I couldn't get out of it. And I woke up, and I normally am someone that just rolls over and forgets about it. But something inside me told me to just grab my phone, go on to notes, write it down, and I could just think about it later. And I did. And I let it just kind of sit in my brain for a few days. And I ended up just spiraling into this story. And I don't know, that's just what happened.
What parts of the novel were like in the dream, and what parts did you add? Did you have to add much to it to get a full story out of it, or was it, because dream logic and story logic are often like two different things?
I didn't have much in the dream. It was really literally, I was just in this cabin and I could not get out of it. All the doors were locked, all the windows were locked, and there's a part in the story where one of the characters is staring out the window and almost in a trance-like state, and that's kind of how I was in this dream, and it just it freaked me out so bad. I was so scared when I woke up, and it really stuck out to me. but the rest of it I just kind of added in there randomly. I didn't have an outline or anything. It was a really just go with the flow sort of story process. I knew how I wanted the ending to be. That was probably the main thing. I had the ending written immediately. I had the idea, and then I knew how I wanted it. Literally, the last line of the novel, I knew how I wanted it to be, and then I just filled everything in after that. So it
So
was
it was
really
more
like
like
the
a
cabin.
so it was more like the dream provided like inspiration and like the mood and the atmosphere and
Yeah,
like the setting. And how did you come
exactly.
up? The two main characters in this book are Hannah and Luke, and they're a couple, and they're very different people. They're kind of like almost like an odd couple. Because Hannah is very, she's I would describe her as like the anxiety queen kind of thing. She's like she
Oh
worries about
yeah,
everything and
yep.
everyone. And Luke is kind of just like he's like ultra laid back. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Almost to the point of like a fault, where he doesn't want to believe that
Yes.
anything's a danger until it's almost too late. So, what was the inspiration between those two characters and their dynamic in a relationship with each other?
Hannah is very much, I would say, I know my mom says Hannah's me, 100%. I think it's me and my sister a little bit. Me and my family all the way around have such anxiety. We all have it. And so I definitely pulled inspiration from my own anxiety and anxieties that I've seen in my family. Luke is definitely kind of a combination of just men in horror in general, but also my husband very much that way. I could see this exact scenario of me being at this cabin, like, oh, this stuff is really scary. And he's like, you're fine. Calm down. You're overreacting. Everything is great. So yeah, it was definitely based on true life, I guess.
Yeah, what I liked about this book, like when they first reach the cabin, it's not what they expect. They look at like Luke saw it online. He rented it out. They get there. It's not the cabin that's advertised on the website. First off, it's very creepy, very foreboding, and Hannah almost immediately starts seeing like spectral beings and shadowy things moving around, disappearing objects, reappearing objects. I remember there's a locket that reappears and disappears throughout the
Yeah.
book. And the worst part is she starts finding evidence of previous people who have stayed in the cabin.
Yeah.
Who like she finds notes in a Bible. She finds like a camcorder at one point in the basement. We'll get to that part about the basement later because that part really creeped me out the most. The basement and the tunnel. That was
Yeah.
really, really scary. But she finds a camcorder and she finds all these pieces. And one thing I loved about the book is what made it really scary to me was that you don't explain anything like about the nature
Mhm.
of what's going on. And that I always find to be more terrifying than something that's laid out for me. Because I always go back to like the very first Hellraiser movie. Like, because in all the sequels, they're demons and they're from hell and whatever. The first movie, they're just sent, but you don't even know what they are. They're just there. Like, and
Yeah.
that is so much more terrifying to me than like a traditional demon or angel or what have you. And this book had a quality like that, where there was like the spectral white that almost like a Wendigo like creature out in the woods that Hannah would see,
Mhm.
and then she would see like these shadowy creatures and everything. But and the tree, this big giant dead gnarled tree out in the woods with all these like stick figures hanging from it, and none of it was explained. So you just get bits and pieces of it, and you're putting it together, and your imagination fills in all these gaps, and that makes it so much scarier. And was that part of the plan, or was that just the way it kind of fell together during the writing process, or what?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just lack of knowing how to explain any of it, or I definitely had a lot of inspiration from Blair Witch Project, kind of that just being in the woods and you don't really know what's going on, or The Ritual. The book and the movie
Yeah.
both are so good, and it's just like, what's happening in this? We don't get any answers. It's just so scary, and you're just trying to figure it out as you go along. So
Hmm.
I don't know, just kind of, I guess that's just how it laid out for me. I have aphantasia, and so I can't see
Hmm.
a lot of detail in my head. So I
Yeah,
definitely
I
get very
I saw that on one of your Instagram posts when it was kind of like when you were talking about yourself in one of your posts, and I was curious
Mhm.
about that because I'd never actually heard of that before. I had to look that up. Well, describe that.
Yeah.
What is that like? Like when you read something, you can't visualize it.
No, I can't at all. When I
Hmm.
have like I don't know, a way that they have like a chart kind of thing where you can say if you close your eyes and you think of an apple, can you
Mm-hmm.
envision it? And it'll be anywhere from like just black to like you're holding an apple in your hand. Mine's black. I have nothing. I can't see anything in my head when I close my eyes. I don't know if it's like your mind's eye or whatever. I'm just not
Mm-hmm.
connected to it at all. I can conceptualize what an apple is. I know what it looks like, but I can't
Mm-hmm.
see it at all. And so
Oh,
I tried
wow.
to put a lot of that feeling into the book. I wanted it to be, I didn't describe Hannah and Luke at all. I didn't give any characteristics for
Yeah,
them
that's
at all.
right.
I, I described the cabin a little bit. I described the creatures quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I tried to kind of leave it very up to the reader because for me, when I read a book, it doesn't matter how much description there is in there. I'm already gonna just put whatever I think should be there. So I
Yeah,
don't know if that also played a part into not describing everything
probably
so
it
much.
did because that lends itself to like to the readers because they're filling in the gaps because
Yeah.
you're not explaining everything, they're filling in the gaps on their own, and the imagination can just, I mean, it's just filling it in with all sorts of spooky stuff.
Yeah. Which that's what I
And
do, and that's what I wanted in the book was just to let people kind of do what they wanted to do with it and not feel like I had to your I think in your review you said spoon feed and that's what I didn't want to
yeah,
do.
right, right. A lot of
People
authors do
can
that.
yeah,
They'll
and
spoon feed the audience this, that, or the other. They'll like hammer their point through, which sometimes backfires.
yeah.
But the scariest scene for me was okay, at the beginning. They go down into the basement and they see this giant, oversized door, like in the basement, and they go in there and there's like hardly any light, so they can't see it. They can't see if there's like a cellar or a tunnel or what have you. And Hannah sees some scratches on the door, and it's just again, it's just hinted at there's something has happened in the past down here, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't really almost want to know what's going on. At first, I was thinking like some sort of weird torture porn scenario, like people have been like I didn't know what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but later on, we find out that it's connected to like this underground tunnel that leads outside, and that's even scarier because perhaps it has something to do with the aphantasia, like she gets down in there and it's almost like not described and it's extraordinarily claustrophobic. It's very
Mm-hmm.
suspenseful also because she's being chased by this wrath-like creature. And the part where she finds this carved out nook in the wall in the dirt, and it has all the belongings that this creature has stolen from the previous people who have stayed in this cabin, and that's where she finds this camera recorder and she finds like a video from this previous person that was at the cabin, which is also creepy. But she has to hide in there, and that was so tense and so claustrophobic. But that whole sequence stuck out to me after the book was done. I was like, I have to highlight this in the review. But
All right, well,
that was the scariest part to me.
I have to shout out my sister for that because I when I started writing this book, my sister was one of the first people that I told, and she was so supportive of it. And she literally read it chapter to chapter as I wrote it. I would write maybe one, maybe three chapters, and I'd send it to her. She'd tell me what she thought. And I got to the tunnel and I had this tunnel and I'm like, I want there needs to be something. Something has to happen in here. But I don't know how to do it because it's just a tunnel. Like she's going to be able to see anything chasing her, anyone coming in here. How can I have a tense moment in this tunnel more so than just walking through it? And I was having like a writer's block on it, and she actually was the one to come up with, well, what if there was like this weird hole where they kept all of their like weird prizes from their victims and they had to climb in there. So that is 100% my sister helping
That
me
is
come up
awesome.
with that whole terrible part. But it was exactly what I needed because I kept telling him, like, I want there to be like a weird room off the tunnel. Like, I don't know why there would be a room like built into this tunnel, but there just needs to be something where she has to hide and then they're going by her and I don't know. But yeah, my sister came up with that.
Yeah, that was the part to me that was absolutely terrifying. I'm not really
Yeah,
even
it's terrible.
claustrophobic, but it wasn't even I'm not even claustrophobic, but there was just something about the way it was written that made it very, very frightening in a way, and very tense and very suspenseful in a way that a lot of books aren't. And it goes back, I think, to that power of suggestion. Do you think that, like, do you think, because there are many different types of horror, of course, there are many different types of ways to write horror, and like movies, there's different types of horror movies, different subgenres. Do you think that stories that rely on suggestion as opposed to like explicit violence are more effective?
I do. I like stories that are more suspenseful and let you kind of come up with what you think is going on versus just gore and crazy the entire time. Which, yeah, that's why I kind of wrote it the way that it is. I wanted it to feel very suspenseful and like you didn't really know what's going on. And claustrophobic. That was actually one of the first things that I told when I told the people I was writing it is I wanted the story to feel very claustrophobic. I didn't want there to be a lot of description. I didn't want there to be a lot of settings. I wanted to just be kind of the cabin, the tunnel, and the woods, and that's it. That's all that we knew that was really going to happen in it. And we didn't get a lot of answers.
Right.
That's what
And there's really not many characters in the book either. There's
No.
Hannah, there's Luke. At one point, there's
Abel.
Abel. He's an
Mhm.
older man that Hannah runs into in the forest. And then there's the police at the end, and that's like
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah,
Was it
that's it. Yeah, I
hard?
wanted.
Was it difficult to just like focus on just like one character like all throughout the whole way and like put yourself like directly in her position throughout the entire book? Or was that a
It
challenge or was that easy to do?
It was at times when I started the book. I mean, I had no experience writing at all. And so I just like kind of picked up the story and started writing it. And I wrote it in first person, which I didn't realize at the time until I started doing more research that that was the more difficult way to write a book. But it just felt very natural that it would be in her consciousness to just follow her through the story. And it was hard at times because I felt like I had to just figure out who she was and I didn't want to put too much of me in it, but there was obviously a lot of me in it and try to make her a very relatable character and but not too whiny, but also there were times in the story where I was worried. I would text my sister. I'm like, does she cry too much? But also, I feel that I would cry at every point that she cried. So it just, that's what felt right. It was hard at times to write it like that. But I did feel like it also added to that level of claustrophobia because we weren't getting anyone else's perspective on what was happening. We weren't really understanding how Luke was feeling about it. It was just, this is how she felt. And whether she was feeling crazy or she was right or she was wrong, we were just kind of along for the ride with her.
I think because the book had like just very firmly in Hannah's perspective, and you do mention that she has had in the past mental health issues. So there is an aspect as the book goes along that like you begin to question if she's a reliable narrator or not,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because
which I love in stories because that's what I want.
there are some points in the book where she admits that what she has seen she really didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
So then the reader starts to question, well, is she actually crazy? Is this stuff really happening? Or is it a combination of both? That
Yeah.
also added to it. And plus she's out there. There's a part the second half of the book is she's lost in the wilderness. She's escaped the cabin. Luke is sick. She's trying to get him help. There's like a creature stalking her. There's still weird things going on, and the creatures are the entities are like calling her name. They're trying. I take it the entities have to be like invited in, kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
they keep trying to like sneak their way. They take on different appearances to try to trick the person into letting them into the house or the cabin or the shack or whatever. But she's also so she's isolated, she's starving, she's dehydrated, she's possibly going a little off the deep end. All of that just kind of adds to it. Was that intentionally? Did you put that in? Was that in there intentionally, or was that just kind of something that fell into place?
Yeah, I definitely wanted people to question how much was reality. Like I was okay with people realizing that no, the creatures were definitely very real, but also there could be sections of this that she's completely imagining, and to kind of not trust what's going on with her 100%, which I feel like is very just realistic. That's how I would probably be imagining things in the woods. Blair Witch Project, very but
Absolutely.
you're just questioning every little noise that's happening, which makes it that much scarier when you just don't really know, like, okay, is this real? Is this not real? What's happening? I took a lot of inspiration actually from one of my favorite movies growing up was The Village. And that was a
Oh
lot
wow.
of inspiration for that forest where it's like, okay, well, I know that this isn't real, but I'm still kind of going through this forest, but I'm hearing all these noises and it's feeling very real to me. And I don't know how to put that to the side when I already know that it's not happening, but it kind of is happening.
Right. How did you do any particular research for the novel?
No,
No.
not at all. I literally,
It was
I just picked it up and just started going. I had no outline, nothing. It was just a pure everyday whatever came out, which was
so that would be
kind of a fun way to
because
write, but also terrible.
my very next question was going to be because in the writing community there's two types of writers. There's ones that call themselves planners, and there's others that call themselves pantsters, like they write by the seat of their pants, so to speak.
Mhm.
You would be a pantster,
Yeah,
that's what you would be. You like make it up as you go along, fly by the seat of your pants. But there's
yeah.
nothing wrong
I
with that.
don't know if I
Both those,
recommend it.
well,
I'm
both
writing.
approaches both approaches produce good material. There's no real right or wrong way to
Yeah.
do it. It just comes down to the individual person. I'm
Yeah,
probably a
I'm writing
combination
the
of
second
both.
one now, and I definitely have an outline this time. I didn't not like writing the way that I did, but it definitely had moments where it was going along really well, and then there were sections of time where it would be a week, 2 weeks, where I just had absolutely nothing. I just had no idea where it was going to go. I knew something needed to happen, but I didn't know what was going to happen. And for my next one, I definitely it's a very light outline. I have a lot of stuff that I'm kind of adding or taking away, but I have more of a vision of where I want it to go, which I feel like is a little bit better.
That sounds a
But
lot
I
like
never
my
planned
writing.
on writing the book. I just kind of picked it up and just was like, I'm just going to try it. Why not? I don't have anything else going on and I have an
That's
idea, so let's just do it.
that describes my writing process because I'm a combination of both. I usually have a light outline, like the main events I have kind of planned out, but how the characters get there is kind of
Hmm.
determined as I go along. And I do the same thing
Yeah.
you do. Sometimes I'll get stuck in between the guidepost and I won't know like what they're going to say. I won't know what they're going to do. And sometimes it'll be a week, be a two, something, nothing will be coming out. And then it just kind
Yep.
of, I'm working it out in my head the whole time.
Yep.
So how long did it take to write while they watch? Like from when you started to when you finished?
I started it in September and I published it in the end of April or something like that. I don't remember the exact day, but yeah, it was not super long, but I don't know, long enough, I guess.
Well, that's a good chunk. I've been working on the book I am currently writing for over 5 years. So it can be 6 months sounds pretty good to me. So yeah, that's
Yeah, I think I could have had it done sooner, but I when I was writing it, I kind of slowed it down a little bit because my I live in Florida and my mom lives in Minnesota and she was coming to visit me. And my mom is such a big reader. She's like the biggest inspiration for my reading and even the book. She helped me edit the book. And I knew I hadn't told her a thing about it. I kept it so secret. I swore my sister to secrecy it because I knew she was coming and I wanted to give her a physical book that I wrote and surprise her with it. And so I think I could have had it done a little bit faster. I'm done by like the very rough draft because I gave it to her and then I sent her the digital copy and then we spent another like 3 months editing it. She was my
that's cool.
ultimate editor at the end of the day. My mom read it, I think she read it like 8 times through
Oh wow, that's
before I
great.
actually published it.
That's great
which
that you
is
had
crazy.
such a, well, no, that's great that you had such a support, that you had a support team, because that's really important,
It
to have
was. It
those.
was nice. It was definitely a labor of love. It was, yeah, my sister and my mom mainly, and then my husband and my best friend Rainey also helped me a little bit on it. But my sister and my mom definitely took the brunt of it from me, especially my mom. She
And
was
when you
really into
started,
it.
how did you, like, after the book was done and it was released, because you just kind of like dived right into the writing community. I mean, you just dived in, with feet first, and then just suddenly showed up, and
It's
I
because I
think I
didn't
think it's
know anything.
mhm. Well,
I
no,
I
that's
had
great
no
though.
idea what I was doing.
Neither did I. When I started out, I was the exact same way. I started like writing seriously, like actually, I told my first story in 2018, and I was just like you. I wrote like ever since I was a kid. I wrote, and I had tons of stories on my computer. And periodically, I would submit things. They'd get shot down. 2018, I submitted like 5 stories in one day. 4 of them got shot down. One of them sold, and that was like all the validation I needed, because then
There
I
you
was like,
go.
okay, I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm doing it. This is it. So I just put all my force into doing that. I actually had a small career writing and drawing comics before that, because that was what I wanted to do. But the writing thing just kind of took off, so I just kind of put full force into that. And I was just like you. I knew nobody. I didn't know how any of it
Mm-mm.
worked. I didn't know
Mm-mm.
how to sell stories. I didn't know how like the writing community and social media worked. I didn't know how to attract editors, how to email, how to format anything. I didn't know anything. So it
Yeah.
was just like the first year or so, I was just learning as I went, and I learned a lot. And it was just like the learning curve was steep, but it's funny because now I'm like, people consider me like the veteran, like among the people I know, because I've been doing it for 8 years now, something like that. And people will ask me, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I remember when I started, I was like, man, I wish I had someone I could ask to do this kind of thing, because I had no clue what I was doing. So
Yeah.
it is a little terrifying to do that, but if you really want it, you just kind of got to do it.
I know. That's how I felt. I was like, I am so not a social media person at all. My personal one, I post maybe twice a year on it. But I knew I had to do it. I was like, okay, I'm publishing this book. I'm gonna have to open a social media. I'm gonna have to like try a little bit and talk to people, which was terrifying, but I just did it and I didn't know what I was doing. I feel like my next book is going to go a little bit better because I didn't even really like understand that I should be on social media talking about it before I published it. I literally like went on social media 3 days before I published it, and I'm like, okay, it's here. I didn't know anybody. I had no followers. I'm like, who wants to read my book? But
Well,
the
it seems to be, I've seen it passed around quite a bit. So it seems to be working its way through quite well. What's been the audience reaction to this? Because I've seen a lot of posts about it in the past few
Yeah,
weeks since it's come
everybody's
out.
really liking it, which is kind of crazy. And I think that's like adding to my imposter syndrome about it because people will message me about liking it, and my immediate reaction is just like, no, it's not that good. I don't know what you're talking about. But people
That's
seem to like it. And even I know people, I've had mixed reviews on the ending, which I told you, but
right.
everybody still, even with the people that haven't enjoyed the ending, they still think it's a really good book. So I guess that's a
Yeah.
win, even if
It's
they're not
funny
really
because
vibing.
imposter syndrome is such a common thing. There was one of my other friends, Mark Gunnels. He writes a lot of horror. One of the books that he was on this show promoting about a year ago was a horror novel, actually called Imposter Syndrome, about a guy who, yeah, it was about a guy who was a writer, who he would black out, and when he would wake up, it was set during the pandemic, and he would black out, and when he would wake up, all the stuff he had written would be destroyed. So there was like a literal imposter in his house, like destroying everything that he was doing. They were like burning his old books. They were trashing the stuff on his computer. They were like, he'd wake up, and his editor would be like, "Why did you say all this crazy stuff on Twitter?" And make everyone angry. He goes, "What are you talking about?" He'd go on Twitter, and it had blown up because he had made all these horrible comments. And he's like, "I don't remember doing any of this." And he was wondering if his house was like possessed, and he was calling like this guy who was like an exorcist to see if it was if it was possessed or not. But that was, that is a very common thing. So success can be, it can be almost as bad, as hard to handle as like failure.
Yeah, no, it's been fun, but I definitely just feel like why it's hard when you just publish something for the first time. 'Cause I'm like, people are gonna hate it. It's like not that good. I didn't have an editor. I didn't have like I just did it on my own, and my mom was my editor, and my sister was my editor. And I'm like, oh, I hope people like it. I don't know. I have like not that much money to sink into this thing, but hopefully. And now everybody really likes it, and it feels really kind of weird but cool. And it's fun.
I just saw Izzy pop up with a comment there. I didn't get a chance to read it though. So she's watching. Hey, yeah, there we go. She says, "Great job." All right.
It's that
Well,
I saw that she said something about Until Dawn, and that actually was one of my inspirations on the book. That's one of my favorite games. I've played it like 8 times through, and it's definitely the inspiration for where the creatures came from. That's how I envision them.
so you mentioned in the author's notes at the end of the book, and you've mentioned before that you're working on a prequel to While They Watch. What can you tell us about that without giving too much away?
I don't know. I am only halfway through it right now, about in the draft. It's about the previous owner who had the cabin, and it's going to be about why he made the tunnel and how he came in contact with the creatures for the first time and kind of his experience with what's going on that ended up setting Hannah and Luke on their course and why it's all happening like that.
That sounds good to
While
me.
also not giving that much information away because I am still I don't think it's necessary to give that much information about the creatures. I don't know.
That's true.
Kind of okay.
I hope you.
Feeling still
Yeah,
kind of claustrophobic and weird.
Yeah, I hope you don't explain too much about them because that's what makes them so scary. What is your actual like writing process like? Do you like to write during the day, during the night? You mentioned before that you like to write on your phone, which I've actually had other people that I know write entire novels on their phone. So that's not actually as unusual as it may sound. Some people may think that's strange, but it isn't. So do you like to write at day? Do you like to write at night? Do you need silence? Do you like to write the music? Like, what is the actual process?
I write whenever I can. I have 3 kids, and so it's just kind of whenever they let me have a second, right? It's usually the chorus of them screaming in the background, which maybe is a little bit of ambiance for the story. I kind of just write whenever I can throughout the day. I do write with music, I think, because of my not being able to envision things. I have I have Pinterest boards where I pin kind of how everything aesthetically should be looking, how the creatures look, how the cabin looks, so that I can kind of keep myself in that mindset. And I do listen to horror music. I found like a weird playlist on YouTube where it's Stephen King horror background music. And I listen to that, and it's very atmospheric and weird and kind of creepy. And I just listen to that to kind of keep me in that mindset. But it's very different day to day.
So let's hop in the DeLorean and go back in time. What kind of kid were you growing up? And you mentioned that you didn't write a whole lot as a kid. What led you down the path from where you were as a kid to being like the writer you are today?
I was just like a generic 90s kid, but my mom is the biggest reader I have ever met. She has a we had a library in our house, like a full library. And then we had a house fire and we lost all these books. And then over the course of a few years, she ended up getting all these books back. And she has it's a smaller library, but she collects so many books. She reads more than anybody that I know. And she really instilled that reading in us. I remember being super young and she would tuck us in bed and just read us these books every single night. And she'd make me read out loud to her. I was homeschooled all growing up. And so she'd make me read every school book that I had out loud to her, or she would read it out loud to me. She reads out loud to my dad. So it's just a lot of reading all the time in my house. And she she'd bring books to me that she read, and like one of my favorite books is The Ruins, and she gave that to me when I was like 16 or 17. She told me that I'd love it, and I did love it, and I still love it. So me and her are very in sync with our books, but she's also just a big movie person. She'd bring in a lot of horror movies. She claims she doesn't watch a lot of horror stuff, but she does watch a lot of horror stuff. She watched a lot with me. So she's definitely the ultimate inspiration for why I liked spooky stuff. A lot of Goosebumps books, R.L. Stein, that sort of vibe was definitely what I clung to. Darren Shan, the vampire books, those were huge when I was growing up.
Yeah,
I just
I
love
love
to
the.
read.
I love Goosebumps, and I also love the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books. Those were like big for me.
Yes.
So, and the artwork in those was so scary.
So
Like when I was a
scary.
kid, they were so creepy.
I don't know how we got away
Yeah.
with watching that sort of stuff. Even the show, the music's so good, but those stories, I still have vivid, not nightmares, but I can still like conjure up some of those Goosebumps stories that were so scary.
Okay, so let me see. What specific subgenres of horror do you enjoy best? Like slasher, zombies, vampires. I remember you mentioned you like folk horror a lot. Like
Do like folk horror. I technically don't. I don't. I kind of like all of it. I think I liked the Saw movies a lot, and then I kind of got away from the slasher thing for a while, and I was over it. And I really liked the actual really. I was searching for something that would really scare me, like watching Hereditary or Midsommar, or some of those that were just like really atmospherically scary. But I have recently gotten back into some Ready or Not, or some of my favorite movies now. They're so good, but technically I don't really gravitate towards slasher horror. Like I don't watch the Terrifiers. Those don't really interest me. I know that they're really pop culture heavy right now, but
mhm.
it's not necessarily what I gravitate towards. I gravitate more towards the new Mummy. That's a very intense Evil Dead
Yes, I
sort of.
love that one. That was almost like Evil Dead, like that the Lee
That
Cronin's
was
Mummy.
so that was so scary.
Hmm.
I really my
I was
favorite
really
one that I
surprised.
watched.
I was surprised at how gory and like violent the new Mummy movie was for people who haven't
Oh,
seen it.
it
It was
was.
like it's
I
intense.
had to close my eyes several times. I was like, I can't even watch what's happening, but it was so good. One of my favorite ones from this year though was Undertone. That movie scared the shit out of
I
me.
haven't seen that
That
one
was
yet.
the oh you should. It was one where I legitimately I had a moment where I just stepped back and I was like, am I inviting a demon into my home right now? This movie is so scary. What's happening? So those are
You mentioned.
technically
I'm sorry. Keep going.
like the Paranormal Activity. Those are kind of the ones that I gravitate towards, I think, more than slashers.
But you mentioned Hereditary. Only two horror films have actually like really truly terrified me. Most of them, I love horror movies. They're my favorites. Most of them I just think are cool or interesting, fascinating, exciting. I love the adrenaline rush of them. Two of them have actually scared me. That was the original Pet Cemetery from 1989. That one scared the crap out of me. The Zelda up in the attic, that scared the hell out of me. And the other one was Hereditary. Hereditary
Hereditary is
scared the
so
crap out of
scary.
me. The part that scared me the most was actually when the mom is coming back. I think she's coming back from the grocery store or the seance, and she hears that the daughter has this
Yes, the
like the tongue
clicking.
click. Yes, the click
Oh,
in the
yeah.
car. Like she's just driving there, and all of a sudden she goes, and I was like,
Yeah,
"What the fuck was that?
horrifying.
Like, what was that?" And it was just like, it was just, I didn't expect it, and then that was the point. From that point on in the movie, I was like, and it just you don't expect that movie to go the places that it goes. Like when you start it to where it ends in a
Yeah.
completely different place from where it
Mm,
begins. And
it's
like by
such
the
a
end of
good
that
one.
movie, you're like, what the hell am I actually watching here?
Yeah.
So
And Tony's so
that one
good.
really scared me. Hmm.
She's excellent. She sold that so bad. She's so scary in that. And I think it's like also I'm a mom. So part of that is like every time I see any of these movies that are very mom, like I just watched, I know that you had commented on, I just watched the last new Evil Dead and I really liked the old ones, but that one was specifically, I think it was just because it was like a mom thing. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this movie is so scary and horrible.
Yeah, that one was really claustrophobic because they're locked in that old
Yeah.
apartment building. I mean, I get it that it's larger than a cabin, so the cabin's supposed to be like more claustrophobic, but for some reason the apartment building was more claustrophobic. They're locked in the apartment, and then there's scenes out in the hallway, but towards the end where they're in the parking lot, the parking garage at the end, that got me because they're so close to getting out, and then it's just more chaos. But that, yeah, and the mom, I was really surprised that she was turned into a deadite like so early on in the movie. Like I
Totally.
was
Oh
not
my gosh.
expecting that.
And she was
Like
so
the first,
scary. The makeup they did on her, I was like,
and
I've
when the
never
little
seen anything
girl
so
and
bad.
when like her daughter like doesn't understand what's going on, and she thinks like at one point that the mom is trying to convince the daughter that she's okay and that
At the
her
end,
aunt is trying to hurt her and everything, and I was just like, no, don't buy it, don't believe it, don't believe it, don't believe it.
I know it is hard to watch those when it's like, okay, she's just a kid. It just is what it is. But it's like, don't open the door. What are you doing?
All right. Finish this sentence. My favorite scene in While They Watch is.
The ending.
Nah, that's
Yeah.
good. That
Yeah.
is a good.
But
I like the ending. I like the ending myself. I thought it was, but I like sort of darker twist endings like that.
I
Like
do
a
too.
lot of
I'm
my.
not a big hopefully it's not spoily, but I'm not like a big happy ending girl. Not that it's like a horribly unhappy ending, but it's just I I feel like I like happy endings when they're really earned in a
Hmm.
story. And I don't know, I had that ending written right away. I knew exactly how I wanted it to end. I got a lot of the inspiration from the ending. I don't know if you ever saw The Cave, the movie.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, that was my big inspiration for the ending. That ending, when I saw that as a kid, it just really stuck out to me my entire life, and I just really liked that.
All right.
So I know
My
it's
next,
not really a
my
very good answer because I'm not giving any information away, but the ending is
no. If you've read the book, if anyone's out there watching this who's read the book, they'll know what we're talking about.
yeah,
But I'm like you a lot in, especially in other genres of writing. I like happy endings. In
yeah.
horror specifically, perhaps because I read horror because I want something that's disturbing or frightening or like something that's going to put me on the edge, that
Mm-hmm.
I want something that's a little darker, a little scarier, something that's not going to be comforting.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to me that is, writer like some writers, some movies, they'll have the characters go through all this horrible stuff, and at the end they're like, no, it's okay, everything's back to normal. And it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
no, you're not going to go through all this stuff and have everything be
Yeah.
normal. You're not ever going to be
No.
normal after going through all this stuff, like ever.
Yeah,
So
sometimes the stories my realism can come out and I'm like, well, that's real life though. I mean, sometimes things don't work out. Just that
yeah,
is.
exactly. Okay, the next part of my interview is something I love. It's my favorite part. It's what I call the lightning round of nerd questions. It's basically like free association. I ask a question, you respond with like the first thing that pops into your head. So, okay, there's I don't know how many questions there are. I just kind of like write like random things down.
I'm gonna be
Um,
terrible at this.
okay, okay, here we go. Are you ready? Ready or
No.
not? Okay, okay. All-time favorite movie.
Oh, that Twister. I just watched it though, so that's
Wow,
why.
cow. I love that one. The cows are great.
Dusty's my favorite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, all-time favorite horror movie.
Paranormal Activity.
Okay, favorite guilty pleasure movie. The one that's not that good, but that you love anyway.
Oh, 2 weeks notice.
Hmm. Okay. Favorite TV show. Favorite TV show of all time.
Haunting of Hill House.
That is a good one. I do
Oh,
like
it's
that one a
so
lot.
good. I'm obsessed with that show.
Okay. Your five favorite musical performers.
5 favorite musical performance. That's a hard one. Iron and Wine, Paramore, Panic at the Disco, an emo kid.
I saw the White Stripes was on one of your things the other day. Like
Yes,
the
the
5
White
for
Stripes
5.
is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is good. What's another good one? The Cranberries. I had that on mine too, but I just really do. I listen to them a lot.
Yeah, those are all
Really
good
good.
bands.
Very nostalgic.
I remember you said you mentioned you like the Smiths once, like when I posted something about them.
Which
Like
one you cut out right when you
the
said that?
the Smiths. I remember you said you like the Smiths
Mm,
once.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm
I
actually
do. What
wearing
am I?
my Smith shirt.
Oh,
I had to wear
there you
that.
go. That's good.
But let me see. Favorite food?
Alfredo.
All right. Favorite junk food?
Cotton candy. Is that a food, cotton candy? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a food. All right. I know you're a big gamer, so what are your 5 favorite video games, like ever?
Ah, I just posted this too. See if I can. Until Dawn, I just said that. That's my favorites. I've played it, I think, probably 7 times through. I also really like The Quarry. I really like games like that. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is my favorite. I played an absurd amount of hours of that game, but it was just so pretty that I couldn't stop playing it. Sometimes I really like The Sims. I mostly like just making the houses, and then I don't actually do anything with the characters. Um, what's another one? New one that I play a lot is Repo,
Yeah.
which is like the only PC game that I play, but it is obsessively good.
I remember there was a PC game I loved. It was from the 90s, but I didn't play it until like the 2010s. It was called Blood. It was a little bit more advanced than Doom. I don't know how many people even heard of that game, but it was
I've
a, it
not
was a
heard of it.
horror first person shooter, and I was like obsessed with this game. Like a friend of mine had given it to me. And I was just like obsessed with this. My primary memories of like 2012, like in the summer, is like that game. Like I don't remember anything else from that summer. Like I remember being in
That's
that
all you
game, and
did.
that's about it. I'm not even a big gamer, but every once in a while I'll latch onto a game and it'll be like that. I'll just be obsessed with it for like
Oh,
3 or
that was
4 months.
Assassin's Creed for me. I mean, it was like every day, all day. I was ignoring every single responsibility that I had. It was a problem. I was dreaming
Exactly.
about it. I'm like, I need to stop.
Yes.
I have to take a break from this
Yes.
game for a while.
Yeah. That's always weird. I do that sometimes if I binge watch a TV show. Like if I watch one like every single day, like 3 or 4 episodes, or if I just go through an entire season in like 2 or 3 days, I'll start dreaming about it. And
Yeah.
that's when I'm like, maybe I'm watching a little too much Cobra Kai. Like, because
Yep.
I binge watched like all 6 seasons of Cobra Kai in like 1 week, like a few weeks ago, and I started dreaming about it. And I was like, maybe I'm watching a little too much of this.
Little too
But I do
much.
that
I
with
need to
video
get
games
out and
too.
I need to go touch a tree or some grass or something
Yeah,
really quick around the house.
exactly. What was the name of your first pet?
Oh, Princess Diana.
Oh, cool. What was she? Was she a dog or was it a cat?
She's a kitty. I
Oh,
grew up in
cool.
a kitty household. All cats all the time. That's the first one that
First
comes to mind. I'm sure.
celebrity. Okay, first celebrity crush.
Probably. Oh, that one's hard. The first thing that came to mind was Patrick Wilson, but that's also because I think I just listened to The Ruins by him and I had him like serenading into my ear for the last 2 weeks.
I
That's good.
know
Orlando
you. I
Bloom,
know. Oh,
Pirates of the
yeah.
Caribbean. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Like I remember when he was like the it boy, like in the early 2000s. I remember because of Pirates of the Caribbean and
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings movies.
for good reason. He
Mhm.
still is.
I know you like I know you're a tattoo girl. I know you have described yourself as obsessed with tattoos. What's your favorite tattoo of yours that you have?
I have a Coraline one on my
Oh,
leg,
cool.
and it's really big. It's of the Pink Palace, and then it's got
Oh,
her and the
cool.
cat.
Awesome. All right. Fantasyland time. Hollywood options while they watch for a movie. Who directs and which actors would you like to see as Hannah and Luke?
Oh, okay. Well, I would love M. Night Shyamalan to do it. He was kind of my inspiration on the whole thing. Actors I've never thought about. That one's really hard. I would like, I can't remember what her name is right now, but the one who's in Ready or Not, she has a really unique name. She's got the really good scream. I can't
Is
think
it
of what her name
is it the main girl? Is it Samara Weaving?
Samara, there we go. She would
Yeah.
be good just for the scream alone, and then to have the
Oh,
creatures be able to
yeah.
mimic it back would be amazing.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. All right.
I don't know.
For Luke, who would be a good actor for Luke?
I know. I don't know. That's a hard
I'm
one.
tempted to say
Maybe,
Patrick Wilson.
he could
I don't
do
know
it.
though. He could do
I
that.
guess the
Like I
first
could
thing
see
that
him.
came to mind was Jacob Elordi, maybe, but that's maybe just because I have a crush on him, so why not?
All right. Related question. A biopic is made about the life of Leicole Lang. What's the name of the movie and which actress plays you?
That's impossible. I don't know, something about anxiety for the name. And Zoe Deschanel.
Yes, I can absolutely see that. Okay. You're stranded on a deserted island. What three things do you take with you?
My Kindle. Something to filter water. And a flint, because I couldn't make fire by myself to save my life.
Excellent. If you were a superhero, what would be your code name, your superpower, and who would be your arch nemesis?
These are terrible questions to ask us. My code name would be...
I told you they're just like random. I told you they're like the most random things you can ever imagine.
I would like to... I don't know. I would like to be like Mystique from X-Men, just take on whoever I wanted to be. Any form that I
like
want, but I
that.
don't know what my code name would be. I can't answer that one. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one.
Okay. You meet your 13-year-old self. What advice do you give the younger you?
Accept the braces. They are what they are. It'll get better.
Okay, you find that genie's lamp. What three things do you wish for?
I don't know. To have my book be successful, maybe. To not have to worry about money anymore. And to go on a really awesome vacation to Norway.
Awesome. Okay, last one. You get to have dinner with any three historical figures. Who are they and what do you ask them?
Oh my gosh. These are impossible questions. What are you doing? Amelia Earhart. I'd like to know where she ended up. If she can tell me. First thing that came to mind was Abraham Lincoln, but I don't know what I would ask him. He shares my birthday, so that's just the first thing that I thought.
Oh, that's cool though.
What question I would have for him. And maybe Edgar Allan Poe. I like to just know about his entire life. He's so interesting.
I would like to ask Edgar Allan Poe, like, why? Because I remember reading about like when he died, like he was wearing someone else's clothes. He was like, he was delirious, calling out for someone named Reynolds. I would want to know who Reynolds is and under what circumstances he ended up like in someone's clothes, like in a gutter. Like, I would want to know that.
See, you have better questions than me.
Other than the interruptions, how did you like the place? All right.
That's a good one.
So what's next for Leicole Lang?
Well, I'm working on the prequel, which is going good. It's a little stressful. My mom is my editor again, and she is very into it. She sends me
Awesome.
about probably 30 notes a day on things to change or what to think about, which is a little overwhelming at times, but it's also fun, and it's fun to do it with her. She's doing it at the same time as me this time, which is very different than the last time. But yeah, I'm working on that, and I have a couple other book ideas in mind for the future. Trying to decide if I want to, after the prequel, write a follow-up to the book, picking up exactly where it left off, or if I just want to leave it alone for a while. I don't know. That's kind of the next thing, is just slowly plugging along on the prequel. My goal is to have it done this year.
Awesome. I want to read it when it comes out, for sure.
I will send it to you.
Any shout outs you want to give?
Yes, I am reading. I had this written down. The main book that I'm focused on right now is by Casey Sutton, who is just a hilarious human being and one of my friends on Instagram. It's called Malthus Necromancer Unchained. It is such a boy book, but I'm committed to it. I'm still going through it, but it reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones, the Long Night episode where they're fighting the White Walkers, and it's just a lot of battling the entire time. I'm like halfway through it, and it's still just battling the entire time. Isn't technically something that I gravitate towards, but Casey's so nice and just funny, so I'm reading it. It's good. I recommend it.
Where can people find you online?
On Instagram. I do have a TikTok, but I don't use it at all because I just don't really like TikTok that much. But I am on Instagram, and that's really it.
Right. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest tonight, Leicole. It was really, really fun talking to you. It was really good finally getting to meet you. And I look forward to having. Thank you. I look forward to having you on the show again when the prequel comes out. That would be really cool. And don't forget, everyone, to head over to Amazon and check out While They Watch. And if you've enjoyed tonight's show, remember, like, share, subscribe to Critical Blast on YouTube. That's it for tonight. The damn show is done. So goodbye, everybody.